This is Barry Westfall coming to you from Bend, Oregon, USA. I'm making a presentation about the importance of details in the export trade. My experience is on the export side with a manufacturer and then also working with a trading company doing both import and export business and handling the documents and the process of moving the product from one location to another, so including the transportation and the customs clearance process. This presentation will be focused on the frozen fruit industry as an example, which the frozen fruit industry is very complicated, and so hopefully your product isn't as complicated as the frozen fruit industry, but my experience has been in the frozen and the dry shipment industry. So first, it's important to identify the potential buyers for your product. In the case of my example here, I'm going to focus on the frozen fruit business. So in the frozen fruit business, there's typically multiple options. One would be working with a trading company who could potentially purchase X workspaces, transport from the factory to the port, from port to port, and then potentially from port to the customer's warehouse. So that would be what's known as door-to-door service. Another potential way of handling that would be the manufacturer in the exporting country transporting to the port, the trading company purchasing at the port, selling port to port, and then the customer that's purchasing from the importing country could purchase at the port and then arrange the transport to their own warehouse. Trading companies have a lot of experience in that type of business, so even though they take a margin, they're potentially a good partner. Another option would be a manufacturing customer. Some manufacturing customers are sophisticated enough to handle the transport from the exporting country or the exporting port. Typically, manufacturing customers are barely able to handle transport from the port, including clearance, and port to customer warehouse. Another potential customer would be a food service customer, and I'm going to talk about the packaging that these three market segment customers can be requesting when they are the end user for these products. So typically in the case of trading companies, they can handle either bulk to manufacturers or more consumer-oriented packages to the retail chains or the food service. Food service is going to be in between in terms of the size of the package, maybe 1 kilo, 2 kilos, 5 kilos. Retail, depending on the market, could be 200 grams, 250 grams. In the U.S., 453 grams, 1 kilo, 2 kilo, potentially. And in the bulk segment, in the frozen fruit business, probably 10 kilo, 5 kilos, 10 kilos, maybe 20 kilos could be the packaging options. So it's important to find out what your customer really wants as opposed to your inventory and what you actually have. Try to find a package that works for both your packaging system, your history, and also works with the customer. A lot of times the customers, especially in the retail segment, aren't very flexible. This is how they want it, and take it or leave it if you want to be their supplier. The transportation in the frozen segment is also quite complicated. So the transportation needs to be at temperature controlled, either chilled, say 5 degrees Celsius, or in the case of frozen, minus 18, minus 20 Celsius for the chilled products. Plugging the reefer unit that can operate either on diesel fuel if it's being transported by a truck that doesn't have a plug-in system, or on the vessel where the vessel has the reefer plug-in system. So that's crucial to maintain that temperature and have, if possible, temperature control process to verify that the temperature was at the required temperature throughout the process from the day it left the factory to the day it was delivered to the customer warehouse. And the temperature recorder can do that. I'm going to put up a list of documents that I will talk about as you see this document list. The duty rates can be varied and handled by a customs broker. Your customs broker that you work with in your country can provide you with the duty rate if you give them the harmonized standard HS code rate. The payment terms based on Incoterms are crucial, and you should understand what Incoterms you prefer and also what Incoterms the customer is going to be able to accept. Samples is also an important part of it. In the food business, typically, it's very crucial, even no matter how difficult it is, especially with frozen, to ship frozen samples packed with dry ice. But mostly in the food business, people want to see and taste and evaluate the quality of the food, and samples is how that's going to work for them. So reach out. I would advise you to reach out to experts either in the customer's market or in your market to find as much information as you can. Customs brokers can help you. Food brokers can help you. They'll take a commission, but they can also be a source of information. Trading companies, again, can provide valuable information. Your local government agencies can be a valuable resource, and consultants that maybe would take a flat fee could also advise you on the complications of the importance of details in the export trade.